Okay, the next problem is number 9, and this is aggregate planning problem. So we have demand for the next 4 quarters are given. The labor required to produce 1 unit is given as 100 hours. So that is the standard hours. Standard hours, that is the labor required to produce 1 unit. Okay, so that is 100 hours. Each worker works 8 hours a day, so 1 day is 8 hours, and then 65 days per quarter. So 1 quarter is 65 days. So regular wages is $15 an hour. Regular time wage rate is $15 per hour. Overtime wage rate is $20 an hour, and we have limit is 20%. Okay. Limited subcontracting is available, and the rate is 2,500. So subcontracting cost, now this one is given as per unit cost. Okay, and then we have holding cost, and that is 100 per unit per quarter. Okay. And then we have hiring and firing cost, and note that it is per worker. Hiring cost is $350 per worker, and firing cost is $500 per worker. So current number of workers is 30. Okay, so what else do we have here? So we have the demand. We'll look at the demand in just a little bit. Okay. So then we have a bunch of questions. Determine the production rate per worker per day and per quarter. Okay. So production rate per worker per day is, it is 8 hours a day that one worker works, and it takes 100 hours of standard hours. So we get the production rate as 0.08. So that is per worker per day. And then we want per quarter. So production rate per quarter, okay, and it's also per worker. Okay, this is the rate, 0.08 is the rate per worker per day, and then we multiply by 65 days per quarter. So this will give us the rate of production. So that is 5.2 to per worker per quarter. Okay, don't round any of this because these are all on the average the production rate. So you should never round these numbers. Okay, next is B. We want to determine the regular time wage per worker per day and per quarter. So wage per day is 8 hours per day times, and the wage rate is $15 an hour. So $15 per hour will give you $120 per worker per day. Now we want per quarter. Then you take that $120 per day times 65 days, okay, will give you $7,800, and that is per worker per quarter. Okay. The next item is determine the overtime cost per unit. Overtime cost per unit is the standard hours. So it takes 100 hours to produce one unit, and if you produce it during overtime, and it's going to cost you $20 per hour. Okay, so this is $2,000 per unit. So every unit that we produce in overtime is going to cost you $2,000 per unit.